seemed like the goal of the world was to condition the majority to base their worth and value completely on their work or if they have a job. So what happens if you fire people? If you raise prices, if you drain their resources, if you reduce jobs, if you post fake jobs to give people false hope, but they're never going to get that job. So all you're doing is destroying their hope. Now, since you prevented them from getting a job, you affect their home life because they base their entire worth and their relationship and their life goals on money. Now, their confidence is destroyed. So what happens? Insecurity and fears and traumas are created. All of a sudden, their wife, or their husband, or their children, they're panicking. Sickness comes in. Illness. It pushes people to credit cards, predatory debt, high interest rates. All of a sudden, mental health is completely priced out. It's way too expensive, so people cannot go to a therapist, or if they lost their job, they don't even have healthcare insurance. And then you highly, highly, highly encourage people to drink and embrace escapism or smoking, basically reaching toward drugs as the solution and just materialism. That's the answer to everything. While also making it taboo to talk about these problems. You don't talk about why you got fired or why you got let go or that your mental health is struggling or that your child is having a terrible time or that you're actually unemployed, that you've been unemployed for 7 months because it's embarrassing. Who decided that it's embarrassing? Who made it embarrassing? Who pushed that narrative? Who made us feel that way? So now people are wallowing in self-loathing. They're destroying themselves. And what happens when you're hurt, when you're feeling bad? You start destroying other people around you. You start destroying your wife. You start destroying your kid. You start destroying your parents. You start destroying your friends, your neighbors, the house. Things start slipping. Dishes get dirty. You don't start taking care of the chores anymore. And clutter is real. Like, it affects you. It affects the energy of the room, the mood, the vibe. So now you start becoming secluded. Now it's just you, or maybe your immediate family. You stop texting people. You lose connections. What happens when you lose connections? You lose support. And now you have no one to talk to about it. So you believe everything that's wrong with you. And then you might go to social media to escape. And now you see people say, I just got a job. Or I just bought a new house. Or I just went on this vacation. And you're like, we're about to lose our house. We just have to take out our 401k. And I can't even tell anyone about that because what's going to happen? What are they going to think about me? My mom is going to think I'm a loser. And the cycle continues and continues and continues. So based on all of these things, this is just was a preliminary from my experience. It was like, is there something, especially once you factor in AI, was there something that wants us to all be consumed by fear, trauma, insecurity, negativity? Is there something or someone that's feeding off of it? Is it, the CEOs of big companies? Or is there something else? I didn't know enough when I first came up with this theory, but that is what started my process down the sales diplomat path, which is where I tried to, and I succeeded in many ways, but I didn't get to where I wanted to because it's a never-ending battle. We're improving the sales industry, fixing hiring, teaching people how to interview better, teaching self-awareness, all for the sake of improving the situation of that people were going through. I was like, people are getting destroyed. If I got destroyed, I know for a fact that at least one other person is going through what I'm going through. So I just knew I didn't want anyone to go through what I did. I had a little baby boy. He was 5 months when I quit my job, and after struggling with many issues, to see the impact and the effect that it had on my family and myself and everyone. And I knew that whatever caused this needs to be stopped. So I started investigating, and I came to the conclusion that this was no accident. This was a calculated, planned play that's been developed for a long time coming, and they didn't expect anyone to figure it out or catch on to what's going on. But this is where everything changes, because I not only have spent the last basically 2 years studying everything about this, figuring out every single thing, interviewing people, discussing with countless people, researching books, movies, video games, understanding what is happening, how it's happening, and some help from other friends that you guys will meet soon enough. But the point is, the world's about to change. Once all this information comes out and a few other people believe it, and then it spreads, everything is going to change. So let's begin. Got a drink from your wine water glass. Or sorry, a wine glass filled with water. I don't drink anymore because I believe alcohol is one of the demons. But drinking from a glass can give you the same impact that drinking wine would. It's the experience, the feel. And then of course some tea. Alrighty. So for anyone who watches this later, the reason why I can do what I'm doing right now is because I can edit it, which means that I can just cut this part out or leave it in. You know, it's valuable information, so there's no downside to this. So now, knowing that theory, where do we go from there? Thus begins the guide, the training, the exposure of knowledge to fight back. Once you know how it works, you can hold a fighting chance. You can hold a fighting chance. Before, you're doing exactly what they want. I want people to understand that most things simply do not matter. Oh, I did 80% of the work and you did 20%? Who cares? It doesn't matter. The moment you start focusing on that, you get lost in the details. You start going down a rabbit hole and you start creating anxieties and fears and traumas and problems. And it could be completely avoided by just being like, well, yeah, I know I did 80% of the work. Okay, so be proud. Labels, names, jargon, complicated explanations. All that does is make people focus on the wrong things, on the superficial. It's about the underlying lessons. And the key, ask yourself one question. Do we understand each other? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is the message getting across? If yes, we're winning. If not, we run it back one more time until eventually we do. So all this leads to a statement that I didn't used to like. I actually despised it the first time I heard it. Inspired from Tenet. Whatever happens, happens. So whatever side effect or consequence or benefit that comes from this stream, these videos, these recordings, whatever happens, happens. I'm ready and prepared for it. So with that said, would you step on a nail if you knew it was there? Would you choose to stand next to a loud trumpet while trying to relax? Would you decide to willingly put yourself in a room with your greatest fears and trauma and triggers if you could choose not to? All three of those examples are what I call smoke and mirrors. Noise. Here's something for you to think about. Try making a new email. Turn your phone off for the entire day. And ask yourself, wow, has my life always been so noisy? No notifications, no dings, no nothing. Nothing demanding your attention. And of course, be careful with TVs and all that other stuff, but try it out. So let's say that all three of those examples are intentionally fabricated for a purpose. If true, what outcome results from those examples? Think about that. Pain, fear, joy, insecurity, hope. What if they just are there to make you forget? What value lies in erasing someone's memories? If they're a blank slate, could you rewrite them? Could you rewrite their story? Could you convince them of things that are not true? Why would someone do that? For what purpose? How? What do you think? Here's one for you. What if there was a way for your REM dreams to be intentionally planted and you could see things and experience things that someone wants you to experience and see? It's a possibility. All of a sudden, you think about it like that with everything. So that was with the dreams, but what if it's like that in everything we do? What if they could make us see and experience things that they want us to see and experience? So then you ask yourself, for what purpose? So before we continue, I want you to consider this. The definition of a miracle. Many people would disagree with me. Many people would describe it in a different way. How would you describe it? Think about it right now. Pause for a second. How would you describe a miracle? For me, it's rewiring faulty programming. In anything. But think about it in your brain. Think about it in a TV, a computer, something that just ceased to function. If you make it work again, isn't it almost like magic? That's what a miracle is. As we are about to get started, I want everyone to remember, do not let your good memories be tainted by the dark moments. No matter what, keep it safe. Put it in your heart. Grab the key, lock it, and hide it somewhere that only you know, behind 1,000,000 passwords. It's their favorite play to mess with that. It's their favorite play. All right, here we go. As we begin, enjoy the journey, my friends. Remember this moment. I'm going to remember this moment. I already feel amazing just from 27 minutes of doing this. This moment, what did we first believe? What did we know? What did we think was happening? How did each stage progress? Day by day, month by month, week by week, our behaviors, our actions. This is only the beginning. Are you ready to get quiet? And finally learn how this earth actually works? Now imagine if you were able to operate on the level that nothing is true and nothing is false. Pure consideration versus believing everything you see. This following statement you can test for yourself. Search engines have a different database. The same things will not appear in each one, despite typing in the exact same sentence. Try it out. Something simple. See what happens.